onto the point, about the comfort zone.
Mm.
Sometimes we've got to push ourselves in that work to achieve what we want to achieve, and it may sometimes go over that limit of what the limit we limit ourselves to, because I think we're much more capable of things that we don't even realize. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think you described that perfectly. So I mean, I quite like that quote by Muhammad Ali, I am the greatest. And I said that before I knew I was. So that's the little message that if we believe something enough, we can make it happen.
Mm.
The next one is, again, in a way, the same sort of thing. This was by Lady Gaga. We've all heard of her. You'd be surprised. You are much stronger than you think. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I do actually believe that. Because for instance, if you watch one of these shows about somebody surviving a horrific incident, be it
Mm,
one perpetrated by nature or by an animal or by even another human being, um, when you listen to how they say what they say, and in the end, when they ask them, "What do you think got you through? What do you think made you fight for,
mm,
survival?" They always have something to say. They always have. Sometimes they say, "Well, it's the thought of me not seeing my son, or the thought of me not seeing my mom or my grandma, or this that." Um, so sometimes we might think that we're capable of only what we can imagine in our head, but sometimes you're much more capable of more. So you're
mm.
stronger, as you said. I do believe that because when you think about people that have been through horrific incidents, people that are lost maybe underneath an avalanche, for instance, and they've stayed there for 3 days and they still survive. Now, you ask
Mm.
that person before that incident if they think they would survive that situation, they'd be like, no. They'd be
Yeah,
like, nobody. They might even say something like, nobody would survive that. But they survived it. So yeah, so we are
mm.
stronger. We just, we just aren't presented with that um, scenario yet.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
that we wish it upon ourselves, but if it comes, I think you get strength, you get what they call inner strength that comes from nowhere, and it just pushes you to fight. So yeah, we
yeah.
are.
Yeah, I mean, it's often said that we give the best performance of ourselves, the best impression of ourselves when our back is against the wall. I think
Mm,
when we're up against it, that's when we know and find out what our resources are.
mm.
What about this one? Hang on, that's not the one. What about this? Give give underthinking a try. Now, obviously, a
Right.
reference to the fact that most of us sometimes are probably guilty of overthinking something. If we have something to worry about, something someone has said, or we're worried about anything really that may be on the horizon coming up to us, we can really overthink it. With maybe having an operation or you're having a tooth out, and we can put ourselves into a real sense of stress by constantly thinking about it, thinking what could go wrong, etc., etc. So this one, give underthinking a try, seems to me to be quite a good bit of advice. What do you think?
I think, I think I'm probably an advocate for that. I'll be a good advocate for that because there's so many things that people panic about, and they come to me and they say, "Oh, I'm so worried about this and that and that," and I'm thinking, about this and that and that, and I'm thinking, right, okay, um, it's probably not going to be as bad as you think, or might not even happen.
Mm,
And most of the people that I've spoken to that's come to me with certain things that they feel fearful about, It's never happened actually. Never did.
Mm.
So yeah, underthinking is one thing that could actually keep you sane. It would keep you, and it would help you to see your to see clearly your next line of action. Because if you panic sometimes,
Mm.
then say for instance, I've seen people that fought off, not seen, but I've heard of people that have fought off a vicious animal like a grizzly bear coming to attack them. And I've seen people that have been mauled half mauled by this grizzly. And then when you compare both, the
Mm.
other one that's been able to fight it off did not panic so much. They didn't think about oh, I'm gonna die.
I think I'd be panicking
well,
there.
well, if you panic, sometimes when you're afraid, you go numb, don't you? Not numb, but limb. So you can't
Mm.
you find yourself physically unable to move because of this fear.
Yeah, yeah.
And that plays into the hands of this whatever is
Of the
trying
bear.
to the bear, yeah. But if you just react, sometimes the animal's scared. They be like, "Whoa, I didn't expect him to, want to fight back or
Mm.
react." And sometimes they take a step back and then they try. And if you continue
Mm.
to, make yourself courageous or look courageous, I don't think any of us would be courageous, but but make yourself look courageous, then sometimes it works. I would say sometimes because I've
Yeah,
never
yeah,
tried
it's true.
it. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's the point they're making there is that you don't want to show fear to,
Mm.
say, a wild animal or a wild dog or something, because that can encourage what they're going to do, I suppose. But yeah, underthinking probably is a good way to be, but maybe somewhere down the middle, because some things obviously do require us to think about them. But it's very
Yeah.
easy to overthink, as we know.
Yeah.
Um, what about this? You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. In other words, we can't control outside events, but we can control our mind. In other words, we can control how we react to certain situations. And I think this is an interesting one that if somebody offends us or upsets us, and it happens to all of us in life, yeah, it's quite easy to sort of get a bit over emotional about it inside and worry about it. Whereas if we learned, if we really learned the art of how we react to situations, then it's only ourselves who can make us better or worse. So it's all about that reaction, isn't it, really?
It is. Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is all we've got time for. But it's really interesting, thought-provoking, um,
Yeah,
questions and
absolutely.
scenarios that you've brought up. Do you want to do the conclusion, please, bro?
Yes, well, we've got quite a few others we haven't got through, so we'll include some of those next week because they do make us think about how we react to things, etc. Anyway, that's it for today. Hope you've found something of interest. I'm Trevor Gear, and he calls me bruv.
And I'm Emmy Hikins, and he calls me Cuz. Join us again. It's a goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me too.